What's going on, guys? It's your boy Chaos back here at the Chaos and Lou podcast. It's your boy Chaos.
What's going on,
We got
guys?
your boy over here, Lou. I don't know why we got a background. Of course, we're going to have technical difficulties on the first one. But anyways, guys, what's going on? Chaos, your boy Lou over here. Finally on our first live. So look, man, we want to get right into it and explain to you why we decided to do this podcast in the first place, man. I mean, ultimately, we've already said it. This is a regular old Joe, man. We're nobody special. And we feel like in our industry and what we do, we have some things to speak on. And because of what we do, we have a lot of time in between our job destinations to sit and talk and shoot the shit. And in all reality, I feel like we touch on a lot of touchy topics, and people tend to look a little.
I mean, not to mention, I feel like we make a difference on the job we do. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's, we'll get into that, but that's part of it.
Yeah, man, and we do feel like because we do have a lot of this time in between the job sites that there are some things that we get to speak on, and we feel like we have a little bit of insight to give people and have people join in and basically give us their take on what we're about to speak on. So first and foremost, what we do. You want to touch on what we do?
Yeah, basically, guys, what we do, we're relocating technicians, aka movers. Let's just be real, we're movers. But it's just it's you don't really think about it, man. But
It's underrated.
It's underrated. But I feel like it's a job that we really need. It's a really stressful job. It's a hard labor job. I won't lie to you guys. But that's part of the reasons why I changed the way I was thinking at first, because I was just working regular jobs. I was doing
The
valet
9 to 5.
before all this. The regular 9 to 5 thing, and I ended up having an opportunity with Chris, and he's always told me, "Come on, man, let's work. You make some money. That was never an issue. But I always felt comfortable. You feel comfortable and you like what you're doing, regardless of what it is. I don't knock you for what you're doing, but regardless of what you do, if you like it and you continue it and you feel like you're doing, you're taking care of your family, then do what you do, man. I don't take that from you at all. But it has shown me a lot of opportunity. It's showing me a new skill that you would think that wouldn't need, but moving is, like I said, really, really, really stressful. And
it is not the easiest job.
It's not.
It's really definitely not the easiest thing, and it's so underrated, man. Because I mean, let's be real. Everybody knows we move, right? We all move. Like whether you're doing it yourself at some point, and you know how stressful that is. U-Haul, the whole works. That's stressful, and then whether or not you have a company doing it for you, that the stress falls on us. Trying to like get people here and there, man. But it doesn't change the fact that it's a really labor-intensive job, and you would think with it being so labor-intensive, why the fuck would we be so happy to do it?
Yeah,
Man?
and we don't want to come off too strong and saying that it's like really, really hard. Like, yeah, that's
hard.
just the fact. It's really hard, yeah. But the reward and the thing that I enjoy the most, that's really blown my mind, is first all the new places I get to visit. I grew up in the hood, man. I never left Cali at all. I got to go up and down the West Coast. I've gotten to meet really good people. They've always got interesting stories, and they're from all kind of places. People grow up in Spain and then now they relocate here for their kids. Just a whole bunch of stories that we've heard that really seem interesting, and we get to reflect on that on the way back because of our job that allows us to go from place to place. And like I said, we reflect on it on the way back, on the drive home, all the good things, all the bad things that happen on the day. But
Which brings us to the whole reason why we even decided to start this in the first place. Because, man, why do something that doesn't fulfill your soul? And the reality is, despite how hard our job might be, we really do get fulfillment out of what we do. I can't even count, I mean, on one hand, how many times, much less two hands and two feet, how often we drive off from a job and like, man, we fucking kill that. Those customers were super happy. We got a great tip. I mean, our tip ratio is like 80% right now. Like
for movers, believe me,
we are killing it. And it's just most of the time it's just me and him doing anywhere between a 1-bedroom apartment to like a 3 to 4 bedroom house. Like two of us just killing it all the time, man. And it's not easy. It is not easy.
It's funny to always when the customer see us like, oh, it's just you two guys, and we're like, well,
That's
yeah.
first question we
that's-
get every fucking time.
That's all you need because we're
Every
so
time.
good at it. And like I said, I don't mean to blow smoke up our own butts, but at the end of the
Blow
day,
it.
I know what I'm capable of, and it's not gonna scare me because you got a big armoire or whatever the case is, man. It's not
We
gonna
do it
stop
all.
me. We do it
Armoires,
all.
beds,
if you know how to
grand
work,
pianos.
smart, not hard, you can get a lot done. And we'd surprise a lot of people. But like I said, we're good at what we do.
Yeah,
That's
man.
a fact. You could look us up on Yelp if you want.
Yeah, we
I'm
do
just
have
saying,
some. We
you
do
know
have
what
some
I mean?
reviews
But
up there.
at the end of the day, like I said, one of the reasons why it's just another job that I found, me personally, that has helped me feel the same like feeling of reward and accomplishment of something that I'm doing, not only to make money to take care of my family, but something that I enjoy to do. And I get
it's physically healthy too.
I can't even be mad at that. You know what I mean? Like I said, we're humans. We're made to build things. We're made to move. We're not made to just sit there and but if you can do it, like I said, I don't knock you for it, man. If you got a good job making good money, not doing nothing at all, then more power to you, man. God bless you. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, I found something that I truly enjoy doing. And it's just, I'm gonna just let you guys know a few things that I've gotten to see and I've gotten to experience, gotten to meet. You know what I mean?
This guy got to see snow for the first time the other day.
Man, hey, it's sad to say, man. It's sad to say, but that's just the life I've been living. Simple LA life, man. You always say, oh yeah, we can go to Big Bear anytime you want, but you never really take
never
the
get up
time.
there.
You never get up there, man. And that's just me personally. Like I said, you guys, are adventurous. I just never knew I was the adventurous type because I didn't know any better.
He's the literal definition of being stuck under
like
a rock.
a lot of new things that I've experienced with Chris, and one of those little things that really, I mean, it's just like I said, it's special to me because I remember when we went out to a base and we were coming back in the middle of the desert, and he's like, oh man, we're gonna show you something. So he pulls over and he shuts off all the lights and he's like, look up, and it's just stars I can't even count, and it was just so mind-blowing, and it's just little things like that I'm happy that I get to experience, and call it petty or whatever, man, but it's just really fun experience and cool things that I get to see. And before I die, we only get one life, so you might as well try to experience it all,
Man, and those little stories right there is exactly what came in and like sparked these ideas of starting a podcast in the first place. Just that simple notion right there. This guy's never seen like stars before, like legitimate stars. And it's crazy. I mean, obviously he's seen one here or there. It's crazy to talk about.
It's probably a plane that's passing by.
Nah, man. That night was completely clear.
It was beautiful, man. It was awesome.
We're coming from
Edwards.
Edwards Air Force Base, or not Edwards. Where are we coming from? Oh, Irwin. Yeah, we're coming back from Irwin. And if coming from there back onto the 15, it's dark as hell. There ain't shit out there, bro. And I just had to do it, man, because we were talking about him not really, seeing stars like that and stuff. And
I thought it was over. I thought he was gonna just kill me, bro. He's like, he pulled over, turned off the lights. Man, we are living in times where you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, man. But ultimately, as we've been going to these different locations, I mean, you've been doing it for almost a year and a half now, right? You started July a year and a half ago, just randomly, and I finally got him in here. I've been trying to get him to do it for a little minute, and bro, we are already homies since Crenshaw, and having him on the crew and being able to do some of the shit we've been doing. This dude is a trooper. First off, let me give him his props right now. Because what we do, like I said, is not fucking easy. And a lot of people don't want to do this shit. There's a reason why people hire movers is because they don't want to fucking do it in the first place for themselves. So give the guy his props, man, because we go through some days where we're sitting there working. We get there 8 o'clock in the morning. We're not we're not leaving back, getting back to our house till sometimes 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock at night, just busting our ass, man. And then we got to get up and do it the next day again. So, but point being is within those times where we get to travel, where we're heading to the house, sometimes we got an hour, 2-hour drive. We have such great conversations about our relationships. We have great conversations about our family. We have great conversations about things that we want to do as men. We talk about the dating scene and the things that we got to like deal on, like we have a lot of good banter back and forth, and he's been telling me for the longest, bro, we should start a podcast, talk about this shit, man.
You guys will be shocked of some of the stories this guy has told me, and that's one of the main reasons why I'm like, man, you really need to get this out there, because I'm sure you're not the only guy out here that has to have gone through something like this, man. It's real life thing. It's like some Maury's stuff, man. I'm telling you, man. It's just wild that somebody so close to you, you know, somebody that I can trust, you know, he has, you know, he's confident enough to tell me these things and ask me for my opinion. And, you know, I may not be the most experienced in dating, you know, not having like so many partners or whatever, but at the end of the day, I know what's right from wrong. And what some of the girls have done to him is damn wrong, man. And you know, that's just one of the things that we want to bring up, and you know, just let you guys know some of the things that I feel that it's not just us, you know, it's not just us, definitely, you know, this happens to everybody and anybody, you know. And it's not about having money or nothing like that, man, you know, because I mean, don't get it wrong, you know, if you have a lot of money, life is easier. But you know, I've worked in high-end places where you'd be surprised. Some of the richest people have told me that they're the most miserable, you know what I mean? And that's shocking to hear. It's really shocking to hear, because I'm talking about some of the most high-end places that you could think of, you know what I mean? Exclusive places where you can't even get in without memberships, you know what I mean? And you know, I got to deal with celebrities, you know, I got to deal with, you know, really, really important people in some certain entertainment industries.
We got some stories there,
you know,
too.
yeah, I got some stories about with some, you know, valet and the things that you would think one of your favorite artists, your favorite actor or whatever, you know, they're completely different off screen, you know. Some of them really do live up to their name, like Keanu Reeves, you know. It's just little examples like that, you know, just in general, because, you know, like I said, there's good people and bad people, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I'll get more into that later. But right now, like I said, we'll
touch on one of the first topics for sure.
Exactly, definitely.
So going into the whole dating scene, obviously he just mentioned I've been through some things, but in all honesty, let's be real. We've all had, have y'all had a chance? Hold on, I want to see what this guy's talking about. Books on, no. We'll have to look into that for sure. Send us a link if you got something in the chat, man. We'll definitely take a look at it. We're always in the market for more self-development.
And this is exactly why we did it. You know, he just recommended something that, you know.
And that's what we want, man. We want people to chime in and be like, hey, man, like, read this, like, get your insight. How do you feel about it? Like, that's
because we don't have all the answers. We never said we had the answers. I'm just trying to give you my opinion and my experiences, and maybe it could help you. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, we're gonna look into that, and you know, thank you again, man. You know, appreciate you coming in, tuning in. But like I said, man, like I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I'm right, but you know, I think that we have some pretty good stories that you guys can relate to and enjoy at the very least. You know, but
perspective
you know,
is always necessary, man. And speaking on one of the first topics, you know, we're touching on dating right now, and we wrote down some little keynotes that we feel like we would like to touch on, and you know, pose a topic. So I'm gonna pose you a question right off jump, and you tell me how you feel about it, Lou. So I know you've kind of heard over the last week or so that we've been planning on doing the live, what some of them might be, but I'm gonna pop it to you right now. So first off, should a man address his jealousies and his insecurities to his woman, whether it be his girlfriend, his wife, somebody he's potentially dating? Do you think that him letting him know that he's jealous in any way, shape, or form, or even has some type of insecurity within himself, should he pose that to his girl?
Okay. Me personally,
let's hear it.
I don't think that you should. No, as a guy, you shouldn't, because I think that shows. I mean, shows weakness. You know, it shows that you're not really sure of yourself. So you're pretty much showing that you're insecure by saying these things. So I mean, my best advice, you know, is for a guy is, man, you know, you gotta lay down your boundaries right off jump, man. Like before you get into anything serious, man, you gotta really, like, if you're serious about talking to somebody, I feel like you should, you know, you guys take the time to talk to each other, really get to know it, what you like, what I like, you know, things, you know, just simple things like, oh, I don't like heights, so please don't take me anywhere that, just little things like that you're not going to put somebody in a tough situation where they're going to feel uncomfortable.
So not necessarily ground rules, but
yeah, just
setting standards
exactly
for what you want in the relationship.
Basically, yeah. And if, something is really like, if you're the type of guy that, can handle the fact that your girl posts a lot of pictures and all that, then I think that you should lay that right off jump and tell them, you know what, I'm not comfortable with this. That's just my personal opinion. If and you guys are still in the stage of getting to know each other, so right. I really don't think that. I mean, you love this person. That just tells you just a little insight of what they don't like. And if you're not cool with it, then you should let them know. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna stop doing it because that's just how I am.
Now let's pose the question in a different context. How do you, as a person who's in a relationship, if something's making you jealous, do you say it to her, or do you? I mean, maybe not necessarily giving a person an example, but do you think that person should essentially tell his girl or his wife that, you know what, this gets me jealous, I need you to stop? Does that make the man look weak, or is he just?
No, definitely not. If you're like in a full-blown relationship, married, kids, whatever the case is, I don't think that it's wrong for you to say something, because I feel like that's just a part of the relationship, and it's called communicating. Mm-hmm. And just, let it be known that something is bothering you, and then now if your partner really does it just like kind of brushes you off, then there's a problem, and I think you guys should figure it out. Right. You know what I mean? But definitely if you're like in a full blown, let it be known right off jump. Don't let it keep happening, because it's only gonna ruin your day, or it's only gonna get you mad for no reason one day because you're just tired of it. Like, it's better to let it out, and at least you're the person that, let it be known that it was bothering you. You're not the problem, and like you've told them the problem, you've told them maybe a suggestion how to fix it, but it's just communication, man. Like you gotta say, well, I mean, because you never know. Maybe the partner that you're telling them, oh, well, I don't like you doing this, maybe they have something to say that they don't like about you, and like I said, vice versa. It goes both ways. It's just the communication. You know what I mean?
So part of the reason why I pose this question, right, is because little backstory on a relationship that I was in.
Oh, get ready.
It's not that bad. This is not one of the bad ones. This one's pretty bad, but I won't go into like too much detail. I think I feel like that's definitely a segment where we can go for like a good 20 minutes on all the situations I dealt with. But this is kind of like a brief overview. Part of the reason why I posed it is because one of the best relationships, or I shouldn't even say best relationships, one of the relationships that I felt like I was in the most love with this person, it ended up being like the most hurtful one to me. And I think over time I realized that relationship, even though I've had more serious relationships, that one lingered the most to me. And I couldn't understand why. And I think ultimately it's because I kept being told, I'm being too jealous. And I don't feel I was. I feel like I was well within my rights of questioning some things that I was seeing was going on. And ultimately, me questioning her ended up being my downfall, because she ended up kicking me out with short notice, had to like dip out, and then a whole nother thing came about it. But, it just goes to show, like, the minute I show some type of insecurity, oh, you're too jealous, you're too this. But the reality is after the fact, the same person that I was jealous over was the same person she ended up being with and having kids with and now married. Like, so wow. Was my jealousy like really not like warranted at the time, or was it really that she got caught up and I just, so it's just one of those things, man. It's like, me personally, I feel like, let me switch this real quick. Me personally, I feel like men should know how to deal with their problems internally first. And if they feel it warrants talking to their girl about it, go for it. But I personally don't feel like you should talk to your girl about a man's problem. And I know that sounds a little misogynistic, but the reality is, man, like, they can give us certain topics on things. They can give us certain point of views on things. But in all reality, they're not a man. They can't really relate to what we have to deal with and how we have to be in a relationship. We are looked at as the provider, protector. And how can we provide, protect if I'm sitting here whining to you about what I think you're doing, or I'm sad, I'm this and that? Like, we have to be rock solid at all times, even when we're not. I mean, and within that, as men, we have to go back to ourselves and like figure out how to deal with that feeling and come back stronger, better than ever, without even looking like we were phased, but the reality is we go through it too, man.
Yeah, I just feel that as guys, we have higher expectations, you know, because we gotta create our value. You know what I mean? You can't just be some bum ass vato, you know, just trying to come up to a girl. You know, you ain't even got a job. You still stay at home with your moms. You know what I mean? Whatever the case is, man, you can't expect a girl to just go like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, you got to look at it from their perspective too. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, you know, we as men don't really like. It's good to have obviously you want a good girl, you know what I mean? She has, you know, you want her to have stuff going for themselves, but in our reality, like, you know, it's not really going to matter to us because we're the ones that are trying to impress you, you know what I mean? We're the ones that are trying to get your attention, you know, and create that vibe that where you're even going to give us a chance. You know what I mean? And it's tough. It's tough, man. I mean, like I said, I'm not born with it, man. I'm not the risk god. You know what I mean? I could honestly tell you that, you know, like time. It's just, it's hard for some guys, man, whether you're insecure about, you know, your hair, you're overweight or whatever, man. You know, I'm fully confident in myself, man. I know what I look like. I've always looked like this my whole life. You know, it's never stopped me from doing anything physically that I wanted. You know, it's never stopped me from starting a family. You know what I mean? It's just the life that I chose, you know what I mean? And it may not be the best one, but believe me, I look happy. I live happy as well, you know, but to be honest, like I said, it's just different types of situations that, you know, like the guy, I mean, you know, he might work at a fast food and, you know, you might not even just, oh, like, where do you work? Oh, I work at McDonald's. Oh, okay. You know, you might think, oh, that's good, but you won't ever talk to him again. You know what I mean? And that's just sad because what if he's like the coolest guy? You know what I mean? Like, what
just to even get in her vicinity is already a challenge.
It's tough. It's tough, man. You know, you ladies don't have no idea, man. Like, really, like, just think about it. You
gotta work hard just to even get.
All you really gotta do is show up. You know, look nice or whatever, and the guy's gonna talk to you. You know, no matter what. You know, it's up to you how are you gonna approach it or if you're gonna, you know, give into it. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? I'm sure at the very least the guy has to look put together. Yeah. You know what I mean?
And so Red Wolf in here said you got to put your mask on first before you take care of others, you know? And we feel you, man. Like a lot of times, bro, like in order to really be good for somebody, you have to be good with yourself first. And I truly believe that you can't just step into any, especially relationships, man. If you're trying to be in a relationship, like be good with yourself, man. Don't go into a relationship with other people and you have all this emotional baggage you haven't even sorted through yourself. You know what I mean? And that poses or brings me into another situation. You know, the most recent relationship I had. You know, I dated her for a little while. She kind of like did me a little dirty and like I felt like I was shysted. And we broke it off, and then we decided to get back in there and try it again, just to realize that damn, I was not over what I went through, the little heartbreak that I went through with you, and I decided, you know, while we started talking again, like maybe I shouldn't because I have these little insecurities in myself, and it wasn't even insecurity, it was more so distrust, and I couldn't trust her anymore, bro, and I felt like if I went into this relationship with her, I was only gonna be doing her this harm or more harm, and I'd be disrupting my own peace because, you know, at the moment I'm good with myself, but I wasn't good with the idea of me and her being back together because of what she had done. Like I hadn't gotten over it. So I ultimately told her, I'm like, look, man, I'm not ready to do this. I feel like I would just not trust you based on what had happened. And I think we should just do each other the justice and not hurt each other anymore, you know?
Yeah, and nobody's perfect, man. You know, I don't blame you for at least wanting to try one more time, man. You know, we're all human. We're all, you know, you like what you like. You know what I mean? Maybe this girl was saying things differently than all the other ones that, you know,
and she wasn't even fucking up the second time
around. Gained your trust at first and made you, you know, believe that you can, you know, actually fall in love again. And I still believe that you can fall, bro. There's, you know, somebody out there for everybody, you know. But unfortunately, you've been, you know, you dealt with some crazy, some good, some, you know, whatever
We've
the
had
case
some
is.
crazies.
You know, but hey, man, you know, that's life. You know, that's life. And if you can, like you said, if you can recognize with yourself that, you know, maybe you were the one that wasn't really stable and wasn't really the one that was going to be all in it, especially because if you don't have trust, you don't have loyalty. If you don't have loyalty, you don't have love. So, you know, that's the thing that I think that a lot of guys should really realize, man. Like, what is this girl really willing to do for you? How can you tell that she's really down for you? And me from personal experience, you know, I have a girl that holds it down for me like nobody has ever done.
That I can contest.
You know what I mean? Like, one of a kind, man. I'll get into the story about how I met her, and how she's another blessing in my life that just fell straight from God, and it's literally in the house of God. And it's you got to pick up
Amen.
on those things, and you got to really open your eyes and see the good in people. And she's showing me nothing but respect, loyalty, love, and of course, we're a relationship. We're gonna have our ups and downs. We're gonna talk about some things, we're gonna do some things, like any other relationship. But the best thing to do is just keep pushing, for your family, and as no matter how mad or how hurt or whatever, man, this girl has really been there for me, and I can't take that away from her. And ever, I will love her. I'm loyal to her 100%. She's never gonna need anything ever in life as long as she has me. And
that brings me to a really good point that I always tell you, bro. The love that you and Scoops has been like something that I've always wanted out of any relationship I've ever been in, because despite whatever struggles and stresses you guys have, at the end of the day, you guys recognize that there's more to you guys than the problem at hand. You know what I mean? You guys have always fought through it. Despite how ugly it might get. I mean, obviously, you guys don't get to the point where you guys are destroying each other.
And it's part of why I'm able to do this job. I'm able to.
Because she holds it down.
Because she holds it down, man.
Right.
What more can you ask from a girl to take care of your children, man?
And why is it so hard for more females to do that sort of thing, man?
I mean, I can only speak on my good one.
Hey.
I
can speak for all my bad ones.
And there's some females out there that, live your life how you want to, man, but don't sit here and poison some. Oh, there's no good men out there. Oh, they ain't shit. Or call it what you want, man.
Which brings me to my next topic.
The fact is that no good men want y'all. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the fact.
You know
what I mean?
Back to what you were kind of saying earlier too. We set boundaries, man. Like, after dating, well, especially me. Like, I've had plenty of dating situations. I've been through a lot of the bullshit, and I've gotten to the point now where I literally set standards for myself and things that I will not look past anymore. Little things that you used to do when you first started dating people, and you see those little red flags, you're like, fuck that. I'm not going to deal with that shit anymore. But before, you used to be like, it's all good. Maybe she won't do it so much once we're like really serious. But the reality is, man, like, don't allow yourself to let those red flags to keep on progressing. Before you know it, you're a whole different guy. You've had to conform and change so much to the point where you're just like, no longer you're not happy anymore, and we don't want that, and vice versa. A woman should not have to change herself so much so that she's unhappy. The goal is not to lose yourself while being with somebody. The goal is to be somebody together and discover who you guys are together as one entity, not just two separate people. You know what I mean? And I think that gets lost in translation these days, especially with the way the dating is these days.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. Like, you got to do your part as well, man. You can't always put it on the girl, man. Of course, I feel like I said, they have more stuff that you can please a guy very easily. Very easily, One of the simplest things you could ever do. But keeping a girl happy and keeping her, entertained, and especially living in LA, everything's so expensive, trying to take a trip somewhere, just for the weekend could be like, man, really expensive.
It doesn't have to be all the time.
And sometimes, I feel for the women, man, because they deserve the world. Women deserve the world. They deserve everything they ever wanted. And the fact that I'm able to do just little things here and there for her, I mean, it may not be the most lavish stuff, the most expensive stuff, but it really comes from the heart. It comes from the heart that you're able to do those things. And I think by you showing at least a little gesture here and there, I mean, I think that's really good advice for guys that are in, trying to keep your girls happy. Like, you think just because you got her and she kicks it with you and whatever, you don't have to take her under consideration, man. Be thankful, man. Yep. It was just Thanksgiving.
Which man. Which brings me to my next topic, and this one's a little bit of a controversy because you kind of posed it earlier. I know we were kind of speaking on this a little bit, but this was within the whole should men address jealousy and insecurities within themselves to their women. And we had a little side note as we were talking about it. We said, well, I hate to put you on the spot, Lou, but you kind of brought up you think that women kind of kill chivalry. Why do you think that?
Oh, man, because...
shit.
Well,
Why'd they kill
the reason I said that, man, is because, you know, when we were younger, we didn't have, I mean, unless you had money, you know, you didn't have internet, you didn't have like technology where, you know, I didn't have a phone till I, you know, I was like in high school, you know what I mean? So back then you either had to send a letter, you know what I mean, go on your bike to visit her or take the bus to another little part of LA to, you know, go see her or whatever, man. You know, it was different back then. You know, I still remember picking flowers for a girl myself from, you know, my mom's friend's garden type of thing, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Just little special things like, you know, it's tough, I think, to impress a girl nowadays because of social media. I feel like they if you don't have something super nice, like a super fancy restaurant or a super nice gift, or
Nice
if
car.
if you don't pull up in a really dope ass car, like, you know, the girl's not gonna be impressed. You're not gonna be worth her time, man, because they're so fooled by the fact that, oh man, we gotta go to this place. Oh, because everybody tells me, like, I mean, what's wrong with me wanting to take you to El Gavilan and giving you a bomb ass burrito
Get you some
as
regular
opposed
tacos.
to take you to get a big ass steak that you can't even finish because I know you're too
That's
small.
overpriced for no
It's
reason
overpriced
anyways.
for no reason. Like that's just my point of view about it. You know what I mean? I feel like if I can, the point of it is not to go spend money and try to impress you. I think just by my personality alone should be enough. But that's one of the things why, like, you know, guys can't even do simple things to show, you know,
Chivalry.
exactly.
And, you know, and I agree because, look, we always hear, oh, girls want a nice man. They want a good guy, this and that. But the reality is when you get the good guy, you always go and fuck it up anyways. And I hate to say it like that. I know it sounds like real deep cut. But the reality is majority, like, especially, I can only speak from my experience. But in majority of my experiences, anytime I'm nice, I get the shit under the stick. And you sometimes you even want to doubt that you're getting the shitty end of the stick because you're like, fuck, this can't be such a pattern that it happens every single time like this. But I noticed the more often I get more distant, the more often that I don't text and stop giving more attention and energy into that person, the more like results that I get. And it's sad that we have to be like that. You guys want the good guy, but then when the good guy comes along and gives you everything that you're asking for, all of a sudden it's not attractive to you anymore. I just don't understand that. And I think, you know, we need to bridge a gap between men and women in dating these days. I think so many things on Instagram is just so accessible. You can see a girl shaking her ass on one screen. On the next screen, you got a girl pretending to be a fucking AI robot. And, you know, everything's so at your hands. Like, dating is not what it used to be. And, you know, even so, and I think social media definitely played a part in chivalry being killed too. Because, I mean, we don't even get to the point where we can open up a door for a girl anymore because it's so hard to get a date.
Really sit there and think about it, man. You know, especially like, let's just say you still like, oh, I didn't meet my girl on Instagram. Okay, cool. Let's just say you go to the grocery store. More than half the time, or maybe 90% of the time, girls now want to just give you their Instagram as opposed to their personal information. It's like, I feel like right off jump, they want to put you in this, you know, list of guys that they can possibly, you know, just because, like, why do I need your social media? I mean, and it's just lies, you know what I mean? It's just all lies. You know, people want to show a perfect life, you know, or whatever. I mean, you know, do what you do. If you personally think that your life is perfect and because you're in Tulum and you're in this and you're in that, I mean, like, hey, man, if you can do it, hey, shit, invite me. But, you know, at the end of the day, man, you know, it's just sad because when you start seeing the girls' pictures and you start seeing, like, oh, they're, like, out here, out there, like, I think in a guy's mind, like, damn, man, like, for one, I'm not gonna be able to take you to no Tulum, and two, like, you know, who's taking you to Tulum? You get what I'm saying? You've been there 4 times this year, type of thing.
How'd you get there?
Exactly, like, you know, I mean, hey,
you don't need work. What?
Maybe your family takes you or whatever. I'm not, like I said, I don't know anybody's situation, but you know, it's just as simple as that. Like, you know, asking a girl for their number, you know, I think. They would prefer to give you an IG, and I think that's just the fakest thing that you can do. You know what I mean? Like, what's wrong with giving you your number and, you know, getting to really know each other, making dates, you know, planning stuff out, you know, like, you know, just as a person because, you know, you were interested in him, not because you see what he has on Instagram, what he can do, where he's been, or any of that. I mean, I think that's fake. You know what I mean? Like, I could say that I've been to Paris and post a Paris picture. You'd never know.
You know, the problem with Instagram and socials these days is that it's all just, you know, a lie. I mean, not all a lie, but majority of the stuff you guys post up for moments in your life. In our reality, you're trying to, like, get attention, and I think I have more of a problem with the girls who go up there and like post half naked pictures and get attention from guys, because in all honesty, if that was the kind of girl that I was seeking, then I wouldn't be seeking a relationship. The girl that I want is not about to be posting her ass and her titties and everything out for the world to see. Like, I feel like, be a little conservative, save some of that stuff for the man who actually you're supposed to be, in a relationship with. But again, Instagram and socials and all the other stuff that's going on, it just makes it so easy for girls to just be promiscuous, and it's like, it's attractive to people, Like, don't get me wrong, yeah, that shit is sexy, but that's not how I want my girl to be, you know what I mean? And it just makes it hard, man, because it's like, who do you want to date? Do you want to date the baddie that's showing her ass on Instagram, or do you want to date the girl that you probably won't ever see because she's stuck inside, scared to do the same thing that we're trying to do to date, It's one of those things, bro. But anyways, anything else you want to say on that topic, Chivalry?
Nah, man, like I said, it's not the same. It's not the same as dating back then, man. It's, especially for like kids that were born after like 2000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we still got to see like simple stuff growing up in the 90s, like.
We still wrote letters.
Yeah, exactly. We
still called people on free minutes.
Exactly. You had to get a card,
Yeah.
in order,
we had
like
the chirps.
exactly. But that's basically it. My take on that whole chivalry thing, man, and I stand on it.
For sure. All right, moving on to the next topic. Ready for the next question I got for you? This one's going to be a little hot take. All right. So why is it so frowned upon for men to want to have sex after the first date? Why is it so frowned upon that they're so expected to have this booty at the end of every date?
Well, I'm going to tell you,
we read in the comments, man. You guys post up what you guys want to put in there. We reading them for sure.
Look, man, I'm gonna tell you, like I told you before, man. I think it all depends on the type of woman. The place where you pretty much pick up a girl, man. I honestly think that, like I said, man, it tells a lot about a person, especially if, you're the type of person that goes out clubbing a lot, and and you could say as much as you want, like, I'm just out with my friends, we're just out, like to dance or whatever, you know what I mean? But if a guy knows that you're out always clubbing, invites you to a club, and it's the first time you guys are out, you guys are drinking and all that, 99% of the time, I feel the guys are really expecting that off the first date. And I think that's partially the girl's fault, because like I said, like, if you're known as a girl that likes going out, likes to be in the streets and all that, they're only assuming that you're out in the streets.
So you're saying that it depends on the vibe and the place that you're meeting said girl at?
Definitely.
So let's say it's a normal situation where you're picking her up at her house, you're taking her out on the first date, having a nice lavish dinner. Like, why is it so frowned upon that he's expecting a little something at the end? Like,
well, for one, we've already put in that time and effort to, first of all, ask you out. That wasn't easy. We
worked to get there, yeah.
We worked to get there. That wasn't easy. Plan the date out. You know what I mean? You're not gonna tell her like, oh, like, where do you want to go? If you really got serious about that, you're gonna have a plan. You're gonna at the very least try to make your best. Maybe not the most fancy restaurant, but do your best. Right. Financially wise. But if that guy's already putting in all that effort, money, making sure you're okay, picks you up and all that. Listen, ladies, I'm not saying you're supposed to just give up, dish it out, man. But if you're feeling the guy, he's treating you right, and you've given it up for a lot less, let's just be real, man. Like, come on, like, what are we really talking about here?
So, we got a comment that says real women don't give. That's it. That's an interesting take.
That's true.
So, look, this is my take on it. In all honesty, I think we all know men. Men, despite how the date's going, if it's going shitty, if it's going great, they're still gonna want something at the end of it. All men want it, and we might not say it, we might not act on it, but the reality is we're sitting there towards the end of that day hoping, like, I hope she invites me over, or I hope she says something about wanting to come over. The reality is we're men, we want to do it. It's just in our nature, it's in our biology. That's just how we are. We're visible creatures. We see you looking as damn good as you're looking, and we just went on this lavish date that majority of the time the guy's going to pay for. It's it sounds frowned upon because it sounds bad, but the reality is the guy's like, man, I just did all this nice shit for you, and you just came.
And like I said, I'm not saying that she's supposed to just give it up. I'm talking about like maybe a little makeout sesh, you know, a little something that shows her that, I mean, she's at least interested enough to go out with you again, maybe to get to that point. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to make it sound like I'm just, oh, you have, you know, I'm just saying, like, I think it's a little unappreciation when you're at least not giving them signs of you know, that you're at least interested in that. You know what I mean? Tell them right off jump, you know what, I think you're a real cool guy, you know, but let's just be friends or whatever. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's another one, guys in the friend zone. I don't know. I think we know that it's hard for a guy to be in the friend zone too, but we have another comment too that we're going to get to here in a second from Adri. So we'll get there in a second. So, some men gravitate to easy snacks instead of waiting for a healthy meal. Man, ain't that the truth? And you know, look, and this is the thing. Us men want, right? We want the easy snack. And we want to be able to just get what we want. I mean, that's just how we are. But that we're not saying that if that doesn't happen, that we're just fully upset and that's the end of the day. We're not gonna like ever talk to you again. But the reality is we're all hoping for it, you know. I feel like there's nothing wrong for a guy hoping for it. And I think, in all honesty, that women want it just as much too. But obviously there's that double standard that if she gives it up, that she looks a certain way on the first date. You know what I mean? Which brings me to my next point within that topic. Will you look at that girl differently if she did give it up to you on that first date?
See,
does she change in your mind? Is she date worthy after the fact, or was that all that the man was really looking for and he's good after that? What was the deal? Obviously, that there's a lot of situations and scenarios that
I've never done that, so I can't. I mean, I can't really touch too much on that, man. But you know, I think that if a girl gives it up on the first date, I mean, it just. Hey, man,
it's controversy.
Yeah, like, you know, obviously you're gonna think that, damn, like she just gave it up, like that's rough. But you know, some guys might like that. You know, some guys might think. I mean, we all think differently at the end of the day. But that's what you.
I think it's within context. Like,
yeah,
let's just say that can't respect it. Hey, you know, I feel you, and you know that's why we're posing the topics. Like, if you don't feel like it should be given up on the first date, and we're not gonna see it. What's to say? What about the second date and how y'all feeling after the first? Okay, yeah. So I can agree with that too. So this is my take on getting it on the first night. I feel like as a man, yeah, we know we want it, but we should put that feeling aside. And if you're genuinely going in there trying to get like a date and have a good time with a person, don't expect anything. But still go out and show out. Like, still do the nice things. Open up the door for her. Pull out her chair. You know, compliment her on how she looks versus not necessarily physically, but, you know, hair. Your makeup looks good tonight. Whatever. You know, I don't feel like you need to go all out. And if at the end of the day she's feeling the vibe and she wants to do it, then I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think if she's, like, so forthcoming throughout the date where she's like, yeah, so, you know, tonight we're about to do, like, that to me is when I start viewing her a little differently if we did have sex. That to me puts her in a different category because she's being promiscuous and forward. You would expect the man to be a little more flirty than the woman would be, you know what I mean? So I think second date is a great opportunity. I've heard some women say they usually do like a 4 date situation where, you know, on the third, fourth date, that's when they start thinking, okay, this guy might be worth the time. You know, I might be giving it up because I'm feeling it too, you know. So I think it's one of those topics, man, where people we don't like to say it, but let's be real, we're men, and you know, I personally don't think I'll look at a girl differently depending on the situation. If she came off low hoish, then yeah, she's a 3 or 5.
Oh man.
But anyway, let's get to this topic. This question here, second date, I think is still soon. It puts me on the fence. You know what? And I think you're right because
go up real quick.
Which one?
I think.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So we'll get to ballin here in a second. So, what does it say? Why do some guys say they don't want that girl, but go on and validate that behavior by following them, liking them, or liking the pictures, commenting, or DM them? Okay. Whew, that's a tough one. All right. You want to give your take first, or you want me to go?
Go first.
All right. So look, again, unpopular opinion about men is that it's unfortunate that we always want more. Like men like variety versus quality, and that is an unfortunate thing to say because it's not what the girls want to hear. But the reality is most men would prefer having multiple sex partners and multiple girlfriends versus being with just one. And I think that a lot of things get misconstrued with how men are with women, because the reality is when men are hitting up other women, I mean, obviously it's wrong, but the fact is they don't do it because they love that girl. They don't do it because they want to be with that girl. They just do it because they see another sexual creature that like fulfills some type of weird feeling in them that just it's just like it has to come out, and so it comes out in following, liking their pictures, sometimes even getting down to the point of DMing them a compliment or whatever the case may be. I think those kind of things are like innate in a dude's I can't ban first woman at one woman at a time. Hey, you know what? And that's cool, and we can appreciate that. Some men, and again, we are speaking from personal perspectives as well as a generality. Majority of men will be like this. I'm not saying all men can be like this. There are good men out there who will stand by the girl that they are with and won't go out and like press any like buttons on anybody, much less, send a DM and comment. But again, majority of men will sit here and tell you that this is what we do. Like, I can tell you right now, I've done it on occasions when I've been in relationships, and it a lot of times there's like factors leading up to that as to why I did it, but the reality is like it's in the back of my head. Like, I mean, we can't sit there and like when we're walking down the street, a woman sees a good guy while she's with you. She's not about to be like, damn, that guy's ugly as fuck, when she knows damn well he's handsome. Like, she's thinking it, she might not say it. You know what I mean? And I think that's where we get into that thing. But again, you can go ahead and read the question again so you can touch on it, Lou. Get your take on it.
Well, I mean, okay, why do some guys say that they want the girl but go on and validate that behavior by following them, liking the picture, commenting? Okay, I mean, I think liking the girl, I think that's a little too much. You know what I mean? Liking the way she looks is different. Like
Right.
you said, man, we're creatures, man. We're human. I don't necessarily think it's right. I don't justify it at all. But at the end of the day, it's just you can't help it sometimes as a guy liking what you see, and it's in our nature. I don't mean any disrespect to anybody or any girl, or try to, like I said, justify why guys do it, but that's just the reality, man. I mean, you girls, I guess, have way more self-control than guys, but I'm pretty sure when you see a guy in fit, you're thinking almost the same things that we're thinking. It's just you have, like I said, more self-control to do it. And but I would like to say that, and actions speak louder than words. And whatever you see on social media, like I said, this is the problem.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a personal issue you have to figure out with, and you have to deal with, because at the end of the day, if I show you loyalty and I show you that
You're there for them.
I'm obviously physically attracted, and I'm obviously like, happy with you and all that. That should speak.
Being a provider, protector.
Exactly. That should speak more than, because it bothers you. I mean, hey man, like I said, my personal opinion, that's something you got to deal with personally, because I'm not in real life how we're living it would not like change any actions or thoughts of what I think about you in any way. You know what I mean? That's something.
I see what you're trying to say. So just to read this next comment, says, is it valid for a girl to do that as well? So hot take on this, and you guys might not like my opinion because it's going to come off very misogynistic, but the truth is us men are very different from you women. We are biologically different. So what you do reflects differently on how we do things. Men, as fucked up as this is going to sound, men, when they are players, they are looked at as more valued and more experienced, because that guy can get a girl. If a guy who has less experience comes around, majority of the time the girl's not going to pick the guy that has less experience because they want a guy who's more competent, who's more understanding, who can be better than them in a certain aspect, well, in many aspects. And I think when women do it, on the other hand, when they come off as promiscuous, they start, and this is where the double standard comes in, they start looking like 304s because your value innately comes from your virtue. Like your sex appeal and how promiscuous you are is identical to where your value comes from. And I know that sounds fucked up, but the truth is a man does not want a girl who has 100 body counts on her, much less 20. You know, because the man will always shoot and go for the girl who has 1 or 2 body counts versus the girl who's been ran through. Like, it's just a fact. That's just how we are. There's a reason why men want younger, skinnier, better. Like, that's just built in us. And it's not that we want to do that. It's just how we are. And obviously, every man is different. You know, every man might not have my preference in women, but the reality is there is that double standard, and I think that the reality is that we got to accept that men are like this because we're genetically different. That's just how it's been from test of time. Like back during the caveman days, all the girls would flock to the most strongest guy because he can protect her. He can hunt for her. He can, make sure that they have a good household and strong foundation to live in. But if a girl in that time goes and tries and talks to another guy, that guy's gonna drop her so quick because his value just got diminished by everything he's ever done. Meant to be less emotionally attached. However, I don't think either should be sending DMs or liking posts. Okay,
facts.
I mean,
that's actually the solution to all the problems. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say it comes back to, I mean, you having these insecurities. You know what I mean? Like, personally speaking, I don't pay attention to social media to that extent where it's gonna bother me in a day. Like, oh, like, you know, if it was for me, you know what I mean, we just delete social media and, you know, keep if you want, keep YouTube or whatever. I mean, but at the end of the day, you know, like I said, that's just the problem here, because if I'm treating you right, if I'm doing it shouldn't really matter what's going on in social media because it's not real, in my opinion.
Agreed.
If you see me every day and you know exactly where I'm at, you know what I'm doing, doesn't really, I mean, what does that mean, really?
So Red Wolf says men tend to be less emotionally attached. However, I don't think either should be sending DMs or liking a post, which we just touched on. And then CPAC said, still doesn't mean we should put up with it. I'm baffled. I mean, I hear you. And I know, like I said, I knew some of the stuff that we were going to talk about was going to be jarring and not necessarily what women want to hear, but the reality is majority of men think like this. And I think it's very knowledgeable for us to speak it more often, because I think we don't come from a place where we're trying to be in love with some other girl. I think, and I'm not saying that we're doing this. I'm just saying that most men will always have the desire to look at other women. Let's see what it's saying here. Agree with Red Wolf. Less emotionally attached. We read that one. Naturally, okay. Certain complaints should be for your partner and partner only. Shouldn't be said easily to anyone else. I agree with that. Hoping for it on the first date. Okay, yeah. So again, like I said, you know, most men do, you know, and you'd be a fool to sit there as a woman to go on a date thinking that this man does not want to have sex with you that first night. Don't be a fool. I'm not saying that it's going to happen and he's going to force you into that. Like, God forbid that happens. But the reality is men do want to go on this date expecting to get something out of it. And that's really up to you. I mean, you women as women have the power whether or not that happens or not. Men don't just go out having sex and getting it willy-nilly. It's not that easy. You know, we have to work towards that thing. And if you're giving it up, it means that you felt some type of way on that date. So therefore, that is your choice. You are the one that has that power. 50-50 on that, King. Yeah, I feel you, man. Like, and again, these are why we're posing these questions, because we really want people to get in here and like give us their takes, man, because dating is tough these days. I'm sure we're not the only ones. Well, I know Luis is in a different situation than I am, but you know, on my end, like I'm really not out here like looking to date. Like it's been a struggle trying to date. Like I've had some tough times like dealing with even just getting past like the first real conversations about getting to know somebody, but without some type of social status coming into play. Like, it's hard for me to even have the conversation with a woman. So, because I can never even get to that point. Christian men want it on the first date. Hey, that is true. Some Christian men do want it on the first date, and that just goes to show. Some have self-control. Wait until after the wedding. Man, kudos to the guy who can wait till after the wedding, because that's not me. I'm gonna tell you right now. Hey, I gotta be real with you. I can't wait that long, man. And these are things that I set as standards for myself. I go into anything that I do when it comes to dating by being straight up forward about what it is I want. If that's not what you're with, and you don't feel interested in me, and after the fact, then that's okay. Move on. We can meet other people, and she might be down for it, and I might not like how she is, and then I'm gonna have to pass her up, and then we're on to the next. Like, that's just how dating is. And I feel like the more honest we are at the beginning, the easier these these things will be. You know what I mean? Let me see. Wedding so long as I got some.
Savage.
These comments are hilarious, bro. I mean, compliments. I figured you meant compliments. We figured as much. Doing some deductive reasoning over here. Some problem solving, Better grab.
I agree. It is for your partner. Like like I said, I'm not gonna sit there and lie. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, like, if you're doing your part at home, showing love, showing that, complimenting too.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's meant like compliments too. Don't get it twisted.
Like I said,
I like hearing my sexy ball.
I'm not disagreeing. Right. I'm not disagreeing. That's why we're having this podcast. You know what I mean? Because you guys can tell us when we're wrong, and because we never said we were right. Like, if we're wrong,
again, this is a perspective.
Make me realize that I was wrong. But if my actions as a guy, and I know within myself that I'm doing right every which way possible in this life, then I don't have any regrets or anything that I regret doing or saying or whatever, because it's made me the man I am today.
And look, let me also state this too, because I wasn't always in the mentality that I am now when it comes to dating and women and sex and all the other stuff. I come from this place because of how I've been treated by women. I was a good guy. I always made sure that I was never looking in another woman's direction. Never even once got in the DMs, but I always got the shit under the stick. At some point, you get tired of doing the same thing and getting the same fucking result. You got to change it up, man. And in all honesty, all it took was for me to be like, look, this is what I want. This is how I'm going to be. If that's not how you want to be, that's okay. Move on. And it's worked. I've literally had better dates like that. I've literally had better conversations with people based on being just straightforward. And and again, I am single in this moment, so obviously I'm a guy. I have needs. We all have needs, and naturally we want to fulfill those needs. But that doesn't mean we have to act on it. I can honestly say that I enjoy my peace. I enjoy being in my house by myself. I don't have to worry about coming home and being stressed out over something and arguing with somebody until I find somebody who can come into my house and create the same type of peace with me, bro. Then that's when I'll get it. Right now, quantity versus quality. It just depends on what kind of man you are. I mean, okay, so yeah, I feel
we're
like
not all the same. We think alike, but we're not all the same. I mean, that sounds kind of weird, but at the end of the day, I mean, like I told you before, some guys are born with it, some guys are not. I mean, it just happens that you guys attract the guys that are born with it, and some of them happen to be pieces of shit. You know what I mean? And that's unfortunate that you guys don't see it right off jump. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's just the reality. Like I said, I don't think a girl would take 2 looks at a nice guy that's regular looking, as opposed to a really, really tall, good-looking guy in shape that's a dick to you.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The likelihood of the dick getting the relationship and the booty from you is more likely than the guy who was nice.
Exactly.
And it's the reason why we end up being the way we are. Like, again, this is not all men. This is a small percentage of our perspective that we're speaking on right now on certain situations, but majority of men think like this. And let's see... harder to get a woman or keep her? Is it harder to get a woman or keep her? I think it's harder to keep her, bro. In all honesty, I think... Well, you know what? I think it's 50-50. You know why? And I'll tell you why. Hold on. Let me switch this camera. I think it's 50-50 just because we already got to work hard just to get in her presence. Just to get the number, just to even get that first date. That's the first hurdle we got to get over. But I think there are certain things that you got to do in order to keep a woman. For one, obviously, loyalty is one of the biggest factors for women. And again, men are more physical creatures, women are more emotional creatures. So naturally, we want different things in that department. But yeah, it's hard to say. What do you think? Harder to keep her or harder to...
That's tough, man. That is a tough one because, I mean, like you said, we have to work hard both ways. You know, as a guy, you have to work really, really hard both ways. But
just because you got her don't mean she gonna stay.
Yeah, because I think it all comes down to consistency. You have to be consistent. You can't just riz her up and make yourself one way and then not keep up the same, you know. Like, I mean, I think that has a lot to do with it, you know, having to keep the same lifestyle that you showed them from the get go.
I honestly feel like it's up to a woman to keep the man, but that's just my opinion. I know I know they're not gonna like that shit either. But
do that right now.
But I think it's up to the woman to keep the man because he worked already hard to get you. He's working. Again, this is assuming that the guy's working hard, providing for all the bills, keeping the roof over your head, making sure you guys are fed, making sure your car is operating and running. You don't got to do shit other than whatever it is you want to do in life, whether it's deciding to work for yourself or going out and getting your nails done or going on a trip with your friends, whatever. Like, if that guy's doing everything that he needs to do, then I think it's her job to keep him.
That's a good point.
I mean, because, look, sad reality is most men don't get much value out of women outside of sex. And I think, you know, people are not going to like that because one thing that keeps a man happy is physicality, right? And I think if men are getting what they no lies told, if men are getting sex on a constant, like, they really won't complain about much. In all reality,
that's
like we're so simple, and I think women tend to like think we're a little bit more complex when we're really not. We just want one thing, and if we're getting that one thing at all times, I mean, I'm not saying it has to be every day, all day long. I'm saying that as long as that department is being fulfilled, majority of the time, the man won't complain about much. You know, we just want a little bit of peace of mind when we come home. We want to be able to enjoy our time and company with you when we come home. And we want to be able to finish it off at the end of the night. And, yeah, I agree. Sex is definitely healthy. And I think if you're not having it, there's a fucking problem. So.
Big problem.
Big problem, bro. Like, I know people like to joke about the fact that sex is the glue that holds a relationship together, but that is a big part of that adhesive, man. Like, if a guy's getting his shit good every night, he ain't going nowhere. I mean, that if you are throwing that shit back, he is not going nowhere, man. Two straight cat. Hey, you know, there are one too many out here. Oh, man. All right. So, you want to move on to the next topic? Let me make sure we got all these comments before we move forward. I think we pretty much got let me see what CPAC said. I don't agree with the comment right now. Quantity versus quality. It depends on the kind of man. I mean, yeah, we did touch on that a little second. But, again, not all men are like this. Majority of men are like this. There are the good ones out there. There are some that, like, really are trying to be good men. But, you know, men like and I can only speak for myself in this situation. Men like myself, I've gotten the way I've gotten because I've gotten hurt one too many times being nice. And I'm at the point in my life where I don't even need a woman. I provide my own bills, I take care of myself, and every now and I get the urge to want to be physical with somebody. And, you know, even that I sometimes decide against because I'm like, what good does it really do me?
I right still now? Need Scooby.
Hey, man, you got to do what you got to do, you know? All right, on to the next topic. Let's see. All right, so one of the ones we spoke on is should we hold grudges in our relationships? I know we spoke on this a little bit just now, but I'm
gonna straight up say absolutely not. Absolutely not. You know, it comes down to the communication part with your partner. You know, like I said, all relationships has their ups and downs, you know, problems, whatever the case is, you know, but if you guys really are trying to make it work and trying to move on and live a happy life with each other, especially because of you have kids or you're married or whatever the case is. I think that if you guys had a disagreement, you guys had problems, you guys talked about it, communicated, and you guys made it very clear, okay, you know what, we're going to do our best, we're going to move on, but the healthiest thing is not to bring it up anymore. And if a woman says there, okay, all right, cool, we talked about it, okay, well, let's get over it, let's move forward.
So, question for you then: how do you let it go? If it's been plaguing your relationship, how does one let it go?
Well, you have two choices. You either have to live with it and try your hardest not to act on anything and say anything that you're gonna regret, or if you just can't deal with it, then the best advice I can tell you is just walk out, be out, because it's not worth you trying to live a happy life, this fake life in your head, because that grudge that you have holding on is always going to come back because of a feeling you get randomly, and you're just going to ruin my day, and and you're going to ruin your day. It's just not worth it. You know what I mean? I don't want to go a month or 2 months good because everything's all good and dandy, and then all of a sudden we're back to square one because you had a feeling because of something that sparked it up that reminded you of something. You know what I mean? I think that's like, especially living with somebody for so long and being with them for so long, and it's like, what? It's just not worth it. I mean, as much as love and respect as you have for them or whatever, again, you guys have to have talked about this, communicated, and you guys as adults both said, you guys are okay, you're over it, let's move forward. Then move forward. Yeah. Move forward, and
let's
if you can't do it, that's my best advice. You either live with it or walk out.
Go on a date not expecting to give up nothing. Hey, you know what? And more power to you, because you're and that's the thing, we're sitting here saying, going back on this.
Hey, I like that. A grudge is poison for the soul. Be a man, kill it with whiskey. Hey.
Throw it back real quick.
Thank you, Whistle Pig.
Hey,
we'll get to that later.
We'll get to that. But so CPAC says she would go on a date not expecting to give up anything, and I agree with that. I mean, and a lot more men, despite us wanting it on the first date, we would probably look at you in a better light versus actually getting it on that first night. The reality is, because most men will be like, you know what, she gave it up a little too easy. How many guys is she really giving it up to so easy like this? How many days she go on this past week? You know what I mean? Hold the fuck up. Like, what am I doing that's so special that all of a sudden I got it? And it's such a double-edged sword, because we want it, but then when we get it, we're like, hold on.
Yeah. And that like we're not perfect.
We're not perfect.
That's why we want your guys' input. Maybe you guys can give us a perspective that makes us understand. Like, maybe
what's your thought process? Why are you not giving it up? You know what I mean? Like, let us know, because we're all different people, and this is why we're having the conversation. We want to know, why is it so frowned upon, but then why is it also not frowned upon when you do it? Like, I just don't understand it. You know what I mean? So again, it can be one of those topics that is kind of double edged. So,
but back to what do you think? What are your thoughts? I plain out simply said, you got to let it go.
Yeah, I'll be honest. When I was a little younger in the dating age, I was super possessive and like jealous, and that's something I really had to work through, because I feel like, nah, that's my girl. Like, and I think most men feel like that when it comes to like somebody they're with. And yeah, there were times where I wouldn't let go of things because I got so I got cheated on, for example, one time, and it was not easy for me to like let go of it. I like legit had the hardest time to like think about the fact that she's going out without me, and who's she gonna go see based on how she did to me the last time, you know what I mean? And yeah, I think holding on to grudges is absolutely poison to any relationship, and you should fucking let it go, because how can you really move forward and still bring up the past? You know what I mean? Like, you might as well just keep throwing fuel to the fire and just jumping in that motherfucker and letting it burn, because you're just going to ultimately burn down your relationship. You're going to wear her out with your insecurities, and vice versa. She's going to get tired of hearing, and then she's going to start, snapping on you, and it just brings about a whole lot of things that we shouldn't have in relationships. So yeah, absolutely let it go. You should always be able to go to sleep at night, tell your partner you love them, despite how you feel, despite what you guys argued over. You should always just try to like know that we're only human and we make mistakes. And I think the healthiest thing you can do is when that situation comes up, I really think you should not be reactive. I think you should be proactive. You should always know that, okay, you know what, this is something that might trigger me in this situation because of what happened. Let me bring it up to him like, look, I know I'm not feeling jealous right now, or I'm not feeling upset about you right now, but can we not do this because it's going to remind me of this, like if that's okay with you. I think that's communicating the problem. I think that's being proactive before it becomes a problem. And move on forward, because you're no longer being like, you did this after the fact, you know? You're saying,
or maybe not even saying that. I mean, sometimes some of the worst thing is face gestures and, you know, attitude or mood swings, whatever you want to call it, man. I think that's the worst, man.
Man, sorry to laugh, man, but if she got that WAP, just stay and suffer. You don't know ever find an ocean like that again.
What a savage.
Oh
Legend.
my God, what a fucking savage. Yes.
Legend.
Yes, you're right. You know, when she got that WAP, you just want to stay in that motherfucker. That's just
Somebody give this man
fucking yes, give this man
a
an award.
shot, man.
We want the WAP for sure. 'Cause
Jesus.
if that shit dry, get the fuck out of here.
damn.
Woo, man. Yeah, man. You know, yeah, like I said, back to the whole situation, man, that we should definitely let go of things. Move forward, man. Like, create peace in your house. You know, a man and woman came together for a reason, because you guys obviously love each other. Why create problems in our house? Like, why find something to be upset about? You know, when you guys are just living good, like, there's peace there, there's love there, you know, there's happiness in this household. Why fuck it up by bringing negative energy to it? You know what I mean? Over something like, if you're insecure about something that's happened and you're still dealing with that insecurity months later, talk to you about it. Like, or if you feel like you need to talk to somebody about it, I don't know, consider going to church, consider maybe having a therapist, or maybe, you know, talking to a friend. Like, I don't feel like you should hold that in, pent it up, and then one day when you know, just even remotely do that small thing, you just fucking.
I mean, but at the end of the day, the best person you could communicate with is your partner, because only they can fix it or help you understand, or you both can help each other. You know what I mean? But like, again, like he said, if it's really bothering you that much, all you really got to do is talk. Don't act weird. Don't say things that, you know, may sound pretty messed up, and, you know, that's what causes more problems. You know, like, let's just be adults, have a conversation, and let's try to figure it out. You know what I mean? But if you're just gonna act, oh, just leave me alone, I'm like, oh God, then there's really no point.
All right. So I think we're closing in on one of the last topics. Bonus question, just because I feel like we've touched on some of the main ones we really wanted to get on for the first episode. We have so many more. There's like pages of stuff that we've written down. Some more controversial than what we spoke on today. But to finish us off and have a nice rounded podcast, this one is for the men. How long is it accepted for a man to be unemployed?
Man, that's
fucking day.
That's obvious, exactly, bro. Like, you know, if I'm gonna be generous, bro, if I'm gonna be super generous, like a week, you know, only because, you know, you don't know what the situation is. You didn't have a car, whatever. I mean, I'm still gonna give you the benefit of the doubt, man. But a guy with no job, bro, come on, bro. Like, let's.
What are you doing?
What are you doing here, man?
What the fuck are you doing?
Like, if you're over 25 and you have no job,
Still living with mama.
still living with your mom, or getting support from somebody else, or whatever the case is, bro, like, it's unacceptable. Like, if you're asking me how long, a week is the most I'm giving, and that's being very generous.
I agree. I think men have the ability to do all types of jobs. Hard ones, easy ones. Fucking, we're problem solvers. We're very good with our hands. We're strong. There's so many things we can do.
And you're not going to sit here and convince me to tell me that there's no jobs out there. There's no jobs that you want to do, man. And, you know, and it's just, it all really comes down to you being lazy, man. You being super lazy, bro. Like, come on, get up, bro. I mean, bro, if you have to just go out and do a regular job for like maybe a month till you find something that you really, really wanted to do. I think nobody's gonna knock you for it, man. Like nobody's gonna knock you because you worked at Subway for 2 weeks because you didn't have a job at the city that you wanted to work for, or the job you wanted, or whatever the case is, man. My whole point is that you should always have something lined up, because I mean this is life, especially you're a man. You got to take care of yourself and others.
Ooh, so we got one here that says, what if a man got laid off and can't find a job that suits his background, does drop to a lower tier until he can find and get back to his field? Look, Lou touched on it just now. I absolutely agree that men, despite what he might want to do, if he drops to a lower tier job and he's still providing to pay for his bill, then fucking do that until you can get to where you need to go.
Yeah.
I feel like there's no excuse for a man to be unemployed in this day and age. There's so many things you can do, bro.
If an ex-con can work and make something of himself, and people come here illegally and make a living,
I'm a testament to that.
Come on,
myself.
man. Let's what are we really talking about? Because he doesn't like the job, because it's not what he used to do. He doesn't get it paid as much as he used to. I get it. I totally understand. You're going through some crisis or whatever, but that doesn't mean that you should go a long period of time because you can't find the job in your field, man. Like I said, man, there's nothing wrong with working at a bank, especially, I'm assuming you had a very good job. So a government job is not going to deny you. You know what I mean? It's all a choice you make as a man. It's a choice that you're making, how long you're going to be unemployed.
Put it like this. During the first year of COVID, our field got really slow. This was before you even working with me. Our field got really slow, and we were to the point where like I was barely making any type of money. So I had to figure out something that I had to do for myself. Eventually, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. If I can't find a job, and again, this is coming from a person who was not born here, who does not have a social, who had to go through certain avenues and loops and hurdles to even work. So when shit got slow and I had to deal with that, naturally, I couldn't just get a job anywhere. So what did I do? I went and created one. I washed cars growing up as a kid, doing it for my own parents. I did it one time briefly for a car wash. And then ultimately I landed on, you know what? Mobile detailing is a fucking great avenue to make money. And all I did was go on YouTube. I study religiously, learn the process, learn what not to do, learn how you can fuck shit up. And eventually I started practicing on my own car. Then it got to the point where I'm buying the equipment, buying the truck, going out and actually trying to get clientele. And it really got good. Like I got to a point where I was like, damn, this shit is actually booming. And then, ultimately my brother needed me to come back to the moving industry because he started contracting. And, I gave it up. But I will say that the reality is I didn't let adversity stop me. Like men don't have that option to sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to just slum it until I can figure it out. Like, bro, like your bills aren't going to slum it too. Like you got to do something.
What she say? A lot of men let their ego get in the way to get work at a fast food place.
Hey, well, that's not a man then.
Exactly.
I'll tell you right now, because if he doesn't want to pay his bills because he doesn't want to be seen flipping a burger, then hey, go ahead and fucking starve because you end up on the street.
You're not that important, my boy.
Yeah, man. Like you, it doesn't matter. Like, yes, look, don't get me wrong. Strive to get a better job than flipping burgers. But if that's all you got at the moment, then take your avenue for now.
Our point isn't here for you to stoop down to a lower level permanently. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying if a guy were to lose his job, whether it be COVID or whatever, a pandemic, whatever it is, the point is that you do what you have to do to make ends meet no matter what. I think that all men can relate to that, no matter how you do it. Anything you do, man, be proud of what you do it, as long as that you could put food on your table, clothes on your back, and somewhere to live, man. I don't think anybody else, or you should care what anybody else thinks about you and how you do it, man.
Agreed. Let's read some of these comments before it gets too far up. So Red Wolf Technology will start getting rid of more jobs. We will have to adjust. Bro, we already seen it, man.
I agree.
We already seen it, bro. Like, that robot that Elon Musk is making, that shit, that's about to be the first one. You guys remember fucking iRobot, right?
Yeah.
You guys remember Terminator, right?
But see, that's the thing. I mean, I feel like we have very good people skills, you know what I mean? And That's what makes part of what makes us great movers, man. You know, it's very easy for us to treat people with very good customer service. You know, just having experience, and
The
me
shirt says
personally, having a lot of experience in customer service. You know, having to do with fast food restaurants. I've done security. I've done, you know, just all kind of jobs. You know. And I've experienced so many situations, you know, security arresting somebody, you know, having to do report with police, you know, driving multi-million-dollar cars, you know, dealing with celebrities, you know, just having to deal with people that see you as beneath them, you know, and that never stopped me from making my money or having to stop me from doing what I like to do because somebody's treating me a certain way and I'm doing a job that other people don't see it as, oh, you have a good job. Like, I was happy doing valet. Man, I was making like real money, like, believe it or not. It's a crazy business as well.
Look, this is the only thing that's going to hinder a man from doing something like a fast food joint. The reality is that's not a society job that is looked at like, oh yeah, he's fucking killing it flipping them burgers. You know what I mean? That's looked on, especially in the dating scene, from a woman like, oh, he flips burgers for a living. Like, what's he gonna do for me? Like,
this food is on fire, man.
No one takes bro, man. Hey, bro, but it's true. No fuck, they don't, bro. And this is why men have their ego stricken, because the reality is, do you guys really want a guy who flips burgers? Like, I mean, you might take him, you know, give him a little bit of seriousness at first, but if that's all he does for the remainder of his life, I'm sure you ain't gonna fucking stay. But you know, we as men should always strive to be better. We should never sit there and just accept flipping burgers as just our only means. But do I feel like we should do it if that's what we got at the moment? Hell yeah. And then, in all honesty, if you're looking to impress the girl and you're working at McDonald's, you're doing the wrong fucking thing. You're focused on the wrong thing. Your focus should not be women if you're working at McDonald's. Your focus should be on you and how you can be better than flipping burgers at McDonald's, not women. So I think, you know, most men, they want the girls, they want the lavish life, they want to look good on Instagram, but they're also fucking,
they don't want to put in the work.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we're not advocating to do drugs and stupid shit, but you know, like, there's a lot of men out here like who just smoke their life away, drink their life away, and like never strive to be anything better. And I think that's a big problem. Savage single mom. Hey, you know what? We feel you, man. We feel, bro, like on fire right now, bro. A woman takes a broke man serious, so make enough to have to.
You see what I mean?
Love that
you
shit,
see what
man.
I mean?
Agree on grudges and are the worst. They really are, man. Like, grudges, we should not hold them. Like,
yeah.
Be like, if you're conscious of the fact that you're holding on to something, go talk to your partner. Like,
it's easy.
Don't hold it in there.
It's easy.
Go talk to your partner.
Even if it's something you don't want to hear, man. You know, nobody likes to hear the truth. Let's just be real. You know what I mean? Nobody likes to hear the truth, but at the end of the day, how are you supposed to, you know, rebuild or move forward with your relationship if you're not willing to let go of this, just whatever you want to call it, this grudge and this hatred towards your partner? Then, I mean, like I said, man, just do yourself and him a favor. Just walk out, man. You know what I mean? It's easy.
Nobody giving you this single mom is. Whoa, who is this?
I know, bro.
They're on fire tonight. And this, man, you know, this is what I was hoping for when we went live, that people were going to chime in and just say some shit that were going to make us, for one, you know, obviously debate over it, talk over it. But I also have these great moments to laughing. And man, this is exactly why we chose to do this shit. And we have so many more topics that we want to go over. Some worse than this, some that are just like about us and what we're going to do. And like some of the horror stories of moving, some of the horror stories of valet. You know, we got stories, bro. Like, there's so many things we want to touch on. And we implore you guys to like throw your comments in here, even after
give us
the video's
suggestions.
done. Yeah, give us suggestions on things that you guys want to hear about. You know, that's the whole reason why we're doing this in the first place. We want to open up a platform for people to,
and we're gonna check out that book.
yeah. We're gonna go back on the comments and definitely check out that book. We have one on the way, and that one's gonna stir up some.
Oh yeah,
but
that's for later on. We'll get to that.
Yeah, even things like the 5 love languages. If you guys are in a caring, loving relationship right now, that's a great one to read on how to communicate with your partner. And really try to, like, you know, fine tune what you guys got if you guys are planning on getting married, or if you're already married, on how to stay together and keep it together, man. Like we want long lasting relationships. I'm not telling men to go out there and fucking be a whore. I'm saying that men are naturally whores already, but we should really strive to be better men in a monogamous relationship, not, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, and anything else you feel like you want to touch on before we drop off right here?
That's pretty much it for now. You know, I don't want to give too much away. You know,
Yeah,
like
man,
I
'cause
said,
we
we got
got-
some stories, and you know, we'll break them down, and you know, I just want to get a little bit more organized, and you know,
Yeah,
but-
we really wanted to get on here and get this live because we are going out of town tomorrow. We're literally taking off to Kirkland, Washington tomorrow morning, early in the morning. So we're fortunate enough to get home a little early today, to the point where we were able to go live a little earlier, and that just gives us more time to prep and be ready for tomorrow's job. But you know, we kind of rushed getting on today, but again, I think it went pretty good. We know we had a lot of good things we talked on. Let me see. Nine's like, Arjun, keep food. Gotta keep food. I'm not sure if I understand that one. Nine's like a gremlin. Just got to keep food. Okay. Okay. I see.
okay. I see.
I was like, wait a minute. What am I saying here? I got you now. I got you. But yeah, man. Again, thank you guys for everybody who showed up in here and, you know, asked questions, gave your insight.
Share it with your friends.
Yeah, please share it up. You know, if you guys, you know, enjoyed this first podcast and first introduction to some of the shit we're gonna be talking on, and you know, if it pissed you off a little bit, please let us know that too, because we want to know. We want to know what these topics do to people and how people really feel in this day and age.
Yes, sir.
Good time. Hey, we appreciate that. You know, we want good times, man. We're here to open it up to everybody. So please send your suggestions in. Please comment some more, even after this video is gone. Hey, we're gonna keep it going. We are gonna keep that shit going, man. We love this shit. We got some shit we want to talk on, man. And you know, me and Lou, we're just two normal guys just trying to make it by. And in all honesty, if we can keep getting big on this podcast thing and being consistent, that's our goal. So, and you know, who knows? We might have a bigger studio. Let's see. I agree with Luis. The most times less than 1 month. Me being fucking generous. Okay. Damn,
One month? Damn, man,
you're being super nice.
You're a blessing, honestly. A month is
Man.
wild. Damn.
All right. So let me ask you this: if you gave him that month and he goes past that month, do you start looking at that man differently? Because I feel like,
I think that's a hard yes.
yeah.
But that shows a lot from him, you know, like, and that should be something natural as a man, that you should be wanting to be working and doing something, man. Like, because even on our days off, you see, like, we can't even sit still, man. Like, I mean, if I'm not doing anything, I'm falling asleep. You know what I mean? But that's just me personally. But
Yeah.
you know, that's just because of the kind of work we do. And you know, if I'm not required to do anything heavily physical or nothing like that, then I'm not gonna do it.
Okay. So,
Hey, what's up, Ray?
hey, that's what's up.
Hey, man, thank you. I appreciate you, my boy.
That's what's up, man. We appreciate the love. Let's see what Adrian said. I work fast food, first job early adulthood before
Thank
getting
you.
into
See?
my career. It was a way to make money. I moved up from it.
Gracias,
And
Ipak.
I feel work 11 years now working. You know what? And that man, you know, that's what people should
See?
strive for. You know, like people should definitely get to the best of their ability and never just settle for one thing. Like, especially if you're a young adult right now, people are striving to be influencers and shit like that, and that's all cool and dandy. But we still need rocket scientists out there. We still need engineers. We still need some of the more like important shit, guys. let's try to be that. We are only doing this because it's something we felt we wanted to do. We have our jobs, so clearly we're still doing what we need to do. And you know, again, it's just a way to open up a
We just
platform
felt
to
like
do.
it was, you know, some of the stuff we go through is just really entertaining, that some people, I feel like, have to hear, man. And just the stories, you know, and like I said, some good, some bad, man. But I feel like for entertainment purposes, you know, we'll give you some juicy stuff, and you know, like, you'd be surprised of the
some of the
people.
shit we do.
Yeah, man. And I hope you guys really, you know, enjoyed it and tune in, man, you know, for the next one. We really do appreciate y'all a lot, man. Much love, you guys.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. I
yeah.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, and another thing we're planning on doing is possibly a thing called Whiskey Wednesdays, where we're going to obviously still speak on the topics that we're doing now. But I think what we really want to do is speak on the topics while sipping on a new type of whiskey on Wednesdays.
So you
That's
guys
going to
have
be
any
a little further
suggestions?
in the future. that we're gonna do that, but that's something that we feel like would be fun. Obviously, not get too fucking litty. Just
I'm
little...
not promising anything, so
yeah, man. So just little things we want to work on. Again, guys, Ray, we appreciate the love. CPAC, we appreciate all your input. Joe, man, we appreciate that love too, bro. And we hope to get you on the pod too, because you got some interesting stuff that I've seen you posting up, and love to get your insight on the industry, and you got some stories too. We got a few people that we have in mind that we want to get on here. We got a boxer that we know. I know he's in here. We got my brother I want to get on here. He's got some really good insights on the cross country game. So yeah, guys. So again, we won't keep you guys too long. We appreciate all the love. Please share the podcast to people who you think might enjoy it, who might get some benefit from hearing us rant about random stupid shit today. But
professional.
The professionals, boy.
Okay, and don't forget.
Yeah, man. So
all right,
you guys stay up. You guys have a great weekend. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. We'll catch you guys. We're hoping to go streaming again next Saturday. So as long as we don't have to end up working or going out of town, that's the next plan. So stay tuned. Look at our socials for any updates. We'll also make sure we do it on YouTube and Rumble. This is going to be posted to Rumble after the fact. I'm hoping I can get that done tonight. If not, I'll do it sometime throughout the week. So, all right, guys. Until next time, you guys have a lovely fucking night. We'll catch you guys next time on the Chaos and Loot podcast.
Yeah.
We out. We much love, man. Much love.